Bonjour, greetings and welcome to Critic Reviews, where I review ponies for your perpetual enjoyment. For the past few reviews I've been reviewing Season 3 episodes, and today we'll be taking a small break from that trend to review a Season 1 episode. That episode is Bridle Gossip. So this episode is not my favourite. It came at the start of Season 1 where we can all agree that the show was trying to aim more towards kids with its simple and transparent morals. This episode was one of those such morals, and I'm going to tell you right now why I thought this episode was one of the worst episodes of Season 1. Really, there's a big problem with this episode in terms of characterization, that being that Applejack is the worst we'd ever see her, that is until some pony to watch over me came along and beat it. But this episode completely ruins Applejack's character for the sake of making Apple Bloom seem more reasonable. But here's the thing, you didn't need to make Applejack scared of Zecora too. All they'd have to do is just make her concerned for Apple Bloom's safety. I mean, she's basically our guardian, and they are away from home. And in the world of Equestria, where Cerberus can rampage around Ponyville seemingly out of nowhere, it's not exactly the safest place to live, not to mention the rest of them. Ugh. The second biggest problem with this episode is probably the moral, and how it is just so blatant and simple. Every time I see one of these lessons in a TV show, it loses a lot of its narrative credibility. But while this may be so, it's still an important lesson to learn, which many of us still don't seem to understand. That being that you shouldn't judge someone by how they may seem on the outside. Basically, don't judge a book by its cover. The problem with it is just how ham-fisted it's presented. Not even with any kind of subtlety that even some morals in this very same season was able to achieve. While being one of the worst, that doesn't mean there aren't some good sides to it as well. It's the first time in the show we can see Twilight being skeptical before the episode feeling Pinky Keen aired, and it's at least some genuine continuity despite the fact that her skepticism is incredibly short-lived and switches at the tip of a hat. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. On top of this, there's Zecora, not only as a character but the concept of a non-pony character like Gilda, or in this case Zecora. It was interesting to see the potential for a slightly more exotic type of equine character. Granted, there wasn't really much of a need for her to be a zebra at all. She could have very well been the same character otherwise. But the fact that she was added adds so much more to this world and this episode than if she was just a simple pony. Anyway, that's my review of Bridle Gossip. I'm the Ponyville Critic, and thanks for watching.